And get rid of the X. No. Wow, that's weird.
Hello.
We're coming into focus, America.
How art thou doing?
I think we're coming into focus, America.
Maybe
We're coming into focus until something knocks us out of focus. I don't know what to do here.
What's going on up there?
That's just the way this thing is tilted.
Oh, that's the garage door.
Garage door.
Okay. I thought that was like, I was like, what the?
Put your Nick thing on.
Are we okay? I know, I just took it off because it was bothering me. I didn't think we'd ever get on. Should we stop and start again or just go?
No, let's just go because that's what we do best is we just shoot from the hip.
Yeah, I mean, who the fuck knows what's going to happen?
I mean, seriously. Belgium, they're asleep right now.
Can I turn this slightly because I'm
Yes, you can. Yeah, make sure Poppy's in the...
He's in there. He's in there.
Anyway, welcome back to the Sack. It is what do we call this? Sit and Slow Sunday.
That's right.
It's Sit and Slow Sunday. We are surprised, as you are, to be here. I got an anonymous tip, not so anonymous tip, about 2 hours ago about a possible show tonight. So me being me, just roll with it. You know?
I mean, I knew you'd say yes. I felt like, hey, both our teams had wins. Every team in the playoffs has played.
Except
these two are playing right now.
And it looks like we're getting a Donnie, which is the series that I think everybody thought was going to be a Donnie.
Yeah.
And of course the Clippers Denver, which went to overtime in game one. So these are the two that everybody had the most eyes on, I believe. The shocker is probably what happened out in La La Land last night.
Minnesota,
I'm normally calling him the fake show, but last night was more like the shit show.
The piss show, the shit and piss show.
Yeah, I don't know, and I don't believe in kicking a man when he's down, even if he's asking for it. But I'm not sure where Lawton's head is at right now. But I would tell you that if he's not concerned, he ought to be, because I thought that series was going 7 before the ball went up. And because of the matchups, Naz Reid, who he kind of chuckled at, well, I think he's chuckling about Naz Reid now if you saw what he did to them last night. And Luka got off and got his on one end, but then there's the other end.
Yeah.
Where Minnesota pretty much did whatever they wanted to do whenever they wanted to do it.
Minnesota's got a lot of talent.
They have a lot of talent. I kept telling people they were in the conference finals last year, and they swapped out an all-star for an all-star.
And added DiVincenzo.
Julius Randle is no slouch.
No.
I think Towns is a better player, but he's no slouch. He's an all-star.
No.
And he played like it, as did DiVincenzo last night. Hit a big three right at the end of the second. Yeah, that was a backbreaker. I mean, that kind of sent LA into a tailspin.
Well, because they had started to creep back in.
They had.
And he hit that 30-foot shot.
He shut the door. He Peyton Pritchard their ass is what he did. He pulled the PP on.
And he lives for shit like that.
He does.
He's that kind of player.
So that's probably the shocker. As far as what happened at 1 o'clock today, where OKC put up the fourth highest blowout in NBA playoff history. Let's be clear about two things. One, they're the best team in the West. Two, the team they were playing just played less than 48 hours ago. Okay, and it showed because they were a step slow on everything. Three, that they had 2 turnovers, which led to 26 points.
Memphis?
Yeah.
So the dumb Memphis showed up.
The dumb Memphis showed up on top of it, and...
Can't afford to do that against the best team.
And OKC hit 11 more threes, which is 33 points right there. So if you take the 33 points from the 11 more threes they hit...
that's a lot.
That's a lot of more threes. 11 more? That's a lot. The Celtics do shit like that.
Well, I mean, you guys I think you guys hit 8 more.
Yeah. But and we blew them out. But I mean, they had 11 more threes, and then there's the 24 points off of turnovers. So there's 33 points and 24 points. It's not hard to see why they won by 50.
Can't overcome that.
You can't overcome that. So, OKC played great, but they played
I did feel like OKC would bitch slap them, not by 50.
I thought they'd win by 20 or 30. What's the big deal? Well, 50 is 50.
That's crazy.
50 tells me the opponent quit.
And it was at 50 for an extent, it was 100 to 55. It ended up, 130 to 80. They were ahead by 50 for an extended period of time.
Yeah, they were. I mean, normally when you're down 30 at the half and you're in the playoffs, somebody comes out and throws a punch or does something. Memphis was listless.
Yeah.
They were. It was a 10-0 run to start the third quarter. It was 40 before you blinked. It was like, what the fuck? What the hell happened in that locker room? What the hell? I mean...
Nothing.
It was almost... it's just, wow.
I wonder if they just said, you know what?
Yeah, give it to him.
Yeah. It's
We're
not going to
tired.
happen.
It's
Let's
gonna
not
happen.
kill
It's like,
ourselves.
yeah, it's one game. We're at home.
Yeah.
They've been sitting around for a week. We just played.
And I could kind of understand that.
No, I can, and maybe that's what it is. John Moran after the game pulled no punches. He said, "Look, they're a very good team as it is. We can't play with that kind of effort and expect to compete." Mm-hmm. So he didn't dodge
He said
it.
that?
Yeah.
That's good.
So he's like, he goes, I can tell you this: we will not play like this again.
Yeah.
He did say that. So,
Better not.
well, better not. I mean, better not. Because you're a borderline laughing. It's like, that was a double bum blasting.
Yeah, that's the worst you'll see.
That was a double bum blasting. We were joking the other night how that team, who was it? They ran out of lube and they were opening the second bottle.
Second bottle.
I would argue.
Who was it?
I don't know. But
Oh, that was when they played
Dallas.
Dallas, right?
Yeah. Yeah. They were opening the second bottle.
The second cap.
I got news for you.
Third.
Oh, I think they went through a case. I think if it came in
12-pack?
if it came in a 12-pack, they used it all.
They were at least on the 10th.
They were on the 10th one.
No doubt.
Oh, easily.
They had a couple to spare.
Yeah, maybe. They weren't expecting to go this far into it, right?
Maybe, is it,
I mean,
maybe for every 10 points past 20, it's an extra bottle.
maybe.
You know? Because 20's a bum.
20's about, yeah, you get bent over 20. But then you get to 30.
Then that's an extra bottle.
Now they're spanking you. At 40, they're pulling out the gimp. But then there's at 50,
they got to.
At 50, it's hold on, sugar, daddy's got a sweet tooth tonight. I guess that's
man.
50.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Warriors just went up 10.
Warriors are up 10.
You said the Warriors could beat them.
Yes,
I didn't think
did.
they could.
I said the Warriors were going to win this series. So I predicted it. So,
I have a lot to be standing corrected on this weekend.
but, the Knicks played well. The Pistons put up a fight. They're going to. That's going to be a tough series, but the Knicks did what they had to do.
I'd like to talk about that game.
Absolutely.
In depth.
Let's just kind of segueing into that because I know this was the main reason why you called. And that's fine. So, yeah. Well, first of all, what did you like about what happened yesterday? What didn't you like?
So, I was going up to Fred to visit my parents. So I watched the first half in the car on my phone. Casey agreed to drive.
See, that's a keeper, boys and girls, right there. That's why. Casey.
Well, we left at 6. I'm like,
we call her Casey the keeper. But anyway, go on.
I pulled the old, I barely slept last night. Do you mind driving? Of course. I watched the Knicks game the whole time up there. So I saw the first half in the car, second half at my parents' house. We're getting there to eat dinner, and I'm like, fuck. We're going to be eating dinner at like the peak of the game,
See, that's when you got to pull the dad card or have dad pull the dad card. We're going to hold off. This stuff needs a little more time to simmer.
Well, dude, it was after 8.
Oh, it was already.
They waited for us because it took us an hour and 40 minutes to get up there because of traffic.
That's rough.
So we get there at 7:40. They waited for us, and they still had some stuff to finish up. So by the time we were eating, we sat down to eat as the third quarter ended. Knicks go down 8. And so
that's the worst time.
I know.
Oh my God.
I know. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to leave the game on. I'm going to sit down and eat. If it's good ending, I'll come back. I'll rewind it.
Sure.
If it's a bad ending,
You don't want to see
fuck
it anyway.
Right, exactly.
You don't say that's true. That is true.
So obviously it was a good ending.
Yeah.
The Knicks were down 8 headed into the fourth and just went nuts halfway through the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll explain some of the things I liked. And a lot of it is the stuff we talked about. We talked about OG guarding Cade Cunningham, and he did an excellent job. I mean, he followed that guy everywhere. He always had his hands on him, and they played the pick and roll differently. Tibbs was playoff Tibbs. He didn't do, what they've done in the past. Karl Anthony Towns guy comes up to set the pick for Cade Cunningham, and Cat plays drop coverage. Our guy can't fight over the screen, and Cade Cunningham either shoots a 3 or comes right downhill at Cat. And that's not a good thing either.
No.
Because Cat's flat-footed.
Yeah.
This game, and it wasn't just with Cat, whoever's man was screening Cade Cunningham, they rushed him off the screen. So when he came over it, they were out there with arms.
Meaning they trapped him?
Well, they didn't trap him really because
They ran the second guy at him.
they ran the second guy at him with and they were reaching, and I mean, it was so instead of standing there and going, okay, Cade, either shoot the 3 or just drive by me, they forced the issue on him, and now he's got to pass to another guy who's not Cade Cunningham. And a lot of times, the guy who was fighting over the screen then had his hands up, and they were creating turnovers off of it. So it was great. It was like, and they were all trying to fight over that screen with a purpose. OG Anunoby fought over every goddamn screen. And sometimes he was grabbing Cade Cunningham as he did. Sure, there were some fouls, but both sides were physical.
It's the playoffs. It's going to
exactly.
And the refs are going to let you play a little bit, which they should.
Yeah.
They should.
Brunson struggled with his shot for most of the game until the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Brunson's a rhythm guy, and it's like when he's out of his rhythm, he'll keep shooting until he finds it, and luckily in the fourth quarter he found it. I mean, they went on a 21-0 run in like a 4 or 5 minute span that just, it broke the Pistons' back. And the Pistons were doing shit all night that I didn't appreciate. Brunson would be holding the ball in between a timeout, and Malik Beasley would come over and smack the ball out of his hands, and the rest would do nothing about it. Walk up, just push somebody out of the way. And I'm like, and luckily the Knicks, it didn't get in their head.
Well, that's what they were trying to do.
That's what they were trying to do. But I don't like when the refs don't do shit outside of the whistle. You want to push a guy while you're playing, that's fine. But some of that stuff I didn't like at all. But it's going to be a tough series. I still like the Knicks in 5, but my hope is that they don't think they did anything. You need to come out and play with that defensive intensity for 4 fucking quarters. If you can pummel them in the fourth quarter, you should be able to do it throughout the game. Obviously, I think they wore him down a little bit, and that's what allowed them to kind of push through at the end. The other thing Tibbs did that I liked, he didn't stick to his normal, this is my rotation. He brought Campaign in the fourth quarter, and Campaign went nuts, and he didn't sub him out. Campaign scored like 8 points in the fourth quarter during that run, and it wasn't Tibbs just like, oh, well, the guy hit 2 threes. It's his time to come out. Josh Hart, get in here. No. He left him in. He also played a lot of Mitchell Robinson and Cat together, which I liked a lot because they needed the size, they needed the toughness on the inside. Sure. Mitchell Robinson had a tip dunk yesterday that was fucking nasty as shit. Dunked all over Isaiah Stewart. So, a lot to like. A lot to like.
Well, it's the thing about it is this: it's one thing to, and this is the playoffs. I mean, look, you're number one. It's always you always see who a team really is in the playoffs because everybody goes balls to the wall because it is the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
There's no you're gonna have you may have a bad night shooting, but you got to find ways to make up for it because it is the playoffs. You don't have the luxury, of losing if you have home court advantage. You can't lose a game at home.
No,
you can't.
And the Knicks have never won a playoff series when they lost game 1 at home.
Yeah, so that's important.
Yep.
And 2, imposing your will. Detroit is a good basketball team. They're gonna have their moments.
Yeah.
They are. The Knicks aren't going to be able to roll over this team, and I don't really know how many teams could. But I can tell you it's a short list. But the thing is, the Knicks did what they had to do when they had to do it. They took a good punch from Detroit, and they responded. And that's what the playoffs are all about. You're going to get hit in the mouth. What did Mike Tyson say? Everybody's got a plan, they hit in the mouth.
Yep.
Well, guess what? It's the playoffs. You're going to get hit in the mouth. Everybody got hit in the mouth this weekend. We'll see how they respond.
Yeah.
Okay, and it can happen in the course of a game, in the course of a quarter, of a half, and a 10-0 run or whatever. And it's all about how you respond. So, because these teams are all good.
Yeah.
They're all fucking good. So to sit there and he's not saying this, but I'm just saying, for anybody out there who's watching this, Miami stayed with Cleveland tonight for 3 quarters. And they had just played 36 hours ago. And Cleveland couldn't put them away until the fourth quarter.
Miami's a real annoying
They're a
seed.
tough, annoying, hard-nosed, well-coached team that is not going to give up and roll over.
As an 8 seed?
As an 8 seed. They're the 8 seed. Nobody wants to play. Okay, I get it. So don't be surprised by anything you see here because this is what the playoffs are all about. That's why it's exciting.
Yeah.
So, but yes, I'm not surprised the Knicks did what they did. I'm not surprised Detroit did what they did. And Detroit has to chippy it up and get a little dirty because that's their best chance to win. Yep. They're not the better team. They're not. So if you're playing a team that has more talent than you, how do you make up for that?
Yeah, how do you get an edge?
How do you get an edge? It's all about trying to find a way to get an edge. I'm not saying that it's right or it's wrong. I'm saying it's the playoffs, and I've seen it too many times.
Yeah.
So am I surprised by it? No. In fact, I think less of it. If they didn't try something, you
Yeah.
can't just roll over and let what's happening happen to you. So that's what Detroit did. New York responded.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing that, another thing to talk about that I think makes the Knicks dynamic is when OG is looking for his shot, now we have 3 people that can legitimately score.
Well, doesn't he average 20?
Maybe a little under.
Well, he's a third guy.
I know.
He is the third option.
I know. But he needs to sometimes act like he's the first option. Because a lot of times he doesn't have the best defender.
Well, this is about the matchup.
Yeah.
If the matchup is in his favor, and I'm guessing he was aggressive because Tibbs probably saw this before the game. If they put this guy on you,
Right, just fucking go.
Go.
Yeah.
Forget this. The offense goes through you if this is how they want to play it. And this is where the playoffs get, because it's a chess game. Now Detroit went that route. He burned them. Let's see what Detroit does in game 2 to counter it, because that's what it's all about.
Now maybe Brunson has a little more freedom.
Yeah, I mean, but Detroit's gonna have to do something, because that didn't work.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is what makes the playoffs so exciting.
You know what was crazy? Tobias Harris, who's been a no-show in the playoffs, at least for Philly, he had 25 points, 8 for 13 from the floor, 4 for 5 from 3. That was out of nowhere. He's had a good year for them now.
He was an all-star in Orlando before he went to Philly and fucking disappeared.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I wanted the
know he was
Celtics. I wanted the Celtics to go after him when he was coming up at
I
Detroit.
wonder what happened to him in Philly. Maybe he just didn't like it there.
Embiid. Embiid does not make people around him better. He does not. He's ball dominant. Like Maxey can get his on his own, but Tobias Harris needs a facilitator or something.
Yeah.
Cade Cunningham is that facilitator.
Yeah. Tobias is off the ball.
He's off the
shoot.
ball. He's a kid. He needs a guy like that. And in Philly, that wasn't the case. The offense runs through Embiid.
Yeah.
It does. Now, I would be willing to bet just off the top of my head, that in games where he played without Embiid and Maxey was out there with him, I'll bet he had better games because Maxey was getting him the ball. But I would be willing to bet that. But he's got a facilitator now in Cade Cunningham, who was 4th in the NBA in assists. So, yeah, I'm not surprised he put those numbers. He put those numbers up in Orlando. He did. Because I wanted the Celtics to go after him. He was averaging 20 a game in Orlando, 19, 20 a game. So I'm not surprised it happened. He's a good player. But again,
because of how poorly he played
in
the playoffs against the Knicks last year. So
but again,
that's what I had in my head.
Where the ball goes to Embiid and it dies with him.
Yeah.
And if you're off the ball and you're a guy who then you kind of
never get the ball, you just kind of
you take 5 shots a game, you can't get into a rhythm. It's like anything you get is garbage or off of garbage and maybe in transition if you run. But he's got one leg; they're not trying to fast break either, so it really hammers you or hampers you. So I'm not making excuses for the guy. I just know he was a boy. He was an all-star in Orlando. I knew he could play.
Well, I mean, he's like 6'9", he can shoot, he can dribble. It's kind of like
he can do a lot of things.
Yeah, like why wouldn't he pad the stat sheet?
Joel Embiid doesn't and has never gotten it. When they got him, he should have been excited. Oh, I got somebody I can create a shot, or if I do, he'll make it. Like that kid, if that guy played with me, he'd be getting 15 shots a game just because.
Yeah.
But Joel Embiid doesn't think like that. So and he never really has. So Maxey had to prove it to him. Maxey's like, I'll take the ball in the point guard, get the fuck out of my way.
So the Knicks only had 9 turnovers.
That's the other thing, they were efficient.
I mean, that's really good.
They were efficient. In the playoffs, ball security, see the finals 2 years ago when Boston literally gave it to Golden State off of 40 turnovers in 2 games. So, and they were at home.
Yeah, I mean, Detroit had 19, they had 9.
That's right there.
That's big.
That can be the difference between winning and losing. It usually is.
It's also just so crazy how the game can swing. Because, it was a tight game for 3 quarters, and at the end of the third, all of a sudden Detroit went up 8. And I was just like, God, like, the Knicks kind of came out of halftime a little flat. And then their bench sparked them. Campaign sparked them in the fourth, which is really good to see because I've given the bench shit all year. So,
well, it's not, they didn't play, he didn't play them.
Not a lot.
No. And it's like, how do you the Celtics, the reason they play their bench from day one.
But I mean, Campaign played 15 minutes, 14 points.
That's huge.
That is really big.
Yeah, that's huge.
But he did spread the minutes. I mean, they played 8.
Okay.
18 for Mitch, 15 for Campaign, 15 for Deuce McBride, and 10 for Landry Shamet.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. So, They did what they had to do. It was a solid win.
Play tomorrow night game
hold
too.
serve. Hold serve.
Win both these games at home.
So definitely don't
give them anything.
Don't give them anything.
That's why they really need to come out with the same just
teams that go up, and I can't speak for the NHL, but in the NBA, teams that go up 2-0 usually win the series by 85% of the time. Because now the opponents beat you 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
That's hard to do.
And then you steal one in their house.
Yeah. So I'm not saying the Knicks will do it. I have the Knicks in 6.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they're going to steal one in their house.
Yeah.
But they are going to beat them, I think.
But winning game 2 is...
Winning game 2 to me is huge. Because if Detroit gets a split, all bets are off.
Yeah.
They have to win game 2. Game 2 is the biggest game of the series. It always is. So, which is good. So we'll see what they do. They're tomorrow night?
Yeah, 7:30.
The Celtics don't play again until Wednesday. Look, here's the thing about this, and I'm not surprised at anything that happened today because I said this was going to happen.
Overall, your feeling about the game?
It went about it the way I thought it would. It was physical. At times, it was borderline dirty. It's the playoffs, so I'm not going to cry about that because it's the playoffs. And if you didn't know it was coming, you're an idiot.
I didn't like how they pulled Jason Tatum down midair.
No, that was kind of dirty, and they called the flagrant one on it. Some people
they did where he hurt his wrist?
Yeah. That's I said the guy underneath didn't go for the ball. He hit him right here. He wasn't going for the ball, and he yanked him. He didn't go for the ball at all.
You don't do that when
that was
in
Caldwell
the air.
Pope, the Denver Nuggets guard. They won a title. He's a dirty motherfucker, and I'm not. That was like, Doris Burke. I don't see it. I'm like, well, that's because you've never played real basketball.
Doris Burke never sees shit.
No, Doris, believe me, when he hit him here, the ball is up here over the rim. He hit him here,
and then just took his whole body.
That was dirty pool. I'm not surprised it happened. I said Tatum was the guy I was worried about. They went right after him. It's going to happen again. Get used to it, Celtic Nation. And this is the thing. This is why you don't blow 13 games at home. Because you get this team, and let's be clear, this team, before the injury bug hit it, was 13-2 out of the gate. This is no 7th seed. This is no 7th seed. They got a guy averaging 26 and a guy averaging 24. This is no 7th seed.
Who's averaging 24?
Franz.
Oh, yeah.
Who had 24 today.
He's a pain in the ass.
So...
Well, what really would have sucked is if Suggs got healthy right before the playoffs, because then you'd be playing probably a 3-4 seed.
They're not. Well, we wouldn't be playing them. They wouldn't be a 7th seed. If
I mean if he had gotten healthy right before the playoffs.
Banchero missed 38 games. There's no way this is they won 41 games as it is. This is not a 7th seed. I keep trying to, this is why I was trying to tell my brother Pete that the Orlando Magic would be in the 4-5 at the worst if they had stayed healthy. They would not have been lower than a 5.
It might be a 3 seed.
They would have been no lower than 5. I'll tell you that right now. That's worst case scenario.
Better than Milwaukee.
They're way better than Milwaukee. So what happened today was pretty much how I thought it was going to go. In terms of the physicality, in terms of they defend the 3 better than anybody in the NBA at it. Boston, by the way, only took 37.
I like the numbers on the 3s.
Well, because Boston, here's where I give Missoula credit, and this is what I was encouraged about today, because he went with the flow of the game. He didn't force 53s. All right, they're taking it away. The Celtics, by the way, shot 43% from behind the arc.
Yeah.
That's great.
Was it like 16 for 36?
They were 16 for 37 or whatever it was. They 30 or 15 for 30, whatever it was. But the point is, they went to the basket. Now, they didn't only, the refs let them play. They only got 18 foul shots. They missed 5. Tatum missed all 4 of his.
Well, some of those came after the wrist, though.
No, 2 of them did. Two he missed in the first quarter when he was fine. So, look, they won by 17. They had them by 20 at one point. Here's the thing about the Celtics. Derek White had 30 points. He's your 4th option. Peyton Pritchard was your 2nd leading scorer at 19. Then Tatum had 17. Brown had 16. Porzingis only had 5. That's it.
Well, because they were
had 9.
real physical with Porzingis.
But they were gonna, and they're gonna. They have to. They have no choice. This is the thing about the playoffs. So I'm not upset at Orlando. That's what they have to do. They don't have a choice. I'm upset at the Celtics because this matchup could have been avoided. Now the injury percentages go way up, which if you're a Knicks fan, you're praying for. So
I wouldn't do that for you guys.
You wouldn't, but
because I actually like the guys on your team.
And I appreciate that. They're a likable team. They are likable. They don't talk a lot of trash. They don't get in trouble. They're a likable group. But what I like about what Missoula did today was he did not force the issue on the 3s. They went to the basket. Tatum and Brown posted up. Brown looked okay. He got a basket. He made a move left where he went by him and dunked it in the lane. That was encouraging. He had some spring.
When he caught the alley-oop, I thought he came down a little ginger. But maybe that's just him being careful.
I think he's being
You know what I'm
careful.
saying?
1, 2, they're playing D. They held them to 86 points because it was Banchero had 36. He went off, and Franz had 24. Nobody else
shut
was a double.
everybody
They
else
shut everybody else down. And this is the smart move.
Yeah.
Because two guys aren't going to beat the Boston
Right.
Celtics. I don't care who they are. And Boston knows this. So they're like, all right, you know what? We're going to play them one-on-one and make them work for everything. And they did, because Banchero worked for everything, as did Franz. And they shut everyone else down. And Boston didn't play. Boston also only had 9 turnovers today. Took care of the ball. That was important.
10 turnovers or less.
Yeah, you're efficient.
Yeah, you're doing well.
efficient.
Especially with as many possessions as there are in these games. I mean, how many possessions do you think each team gets?
In a game?
Yeah. It's a lot.
They average between 80 and 90, 80 and 100 shots.
I mean, to have
I mean,
9 turnovers?
It's probably, and there's offensive rebounds,
Sure.
and so it's the same. I mean, I don't know how many it is, but the thing is, it depends.
70 possessions, right?
Yeah, probably. I mean, you're
75?
around there, 70, 75, I would think, maybe. But the thing is, both the Knicks and the Celtics were efficient with the basketball. That is important. Both the Knicks and Celtics absorbed a punch and responded. That is important. Nobody got hurt. That is important. But the two teams they're playing are going to have to do what they're doing, so expect more of it.
Yeah.
And the more desperate they get, the more chippy they're going to get, so you can't be surprised. It's the playoffs. If you were a fan of the Detroit Pistons, you'd be saying this. Well, get physical with them. What are you doing? The knock on the Celtics is, and this is what I was impressed with, because I heard this all week long, and I kind of get it because there have been times when I've seen it happen. Get physical with them. They don't like it. They don't like it. They don't like you in their shorts. Orlando was in their shorts the entire fucking game. What was great about it is Orlando came back. Boston was up 12 in the first half.
I know.
Orlando fights all the way back, gets the lead at half, and all you hear is all the chirping. Here they come. What Boston did in that third quarter is why.
Put them to bed.
Well, it was the defense.
Because I saw that
It was-
run. I saw the run the Magic made. I was at my grandma-in-law's house, so I couldn't really. I saw that run, then I turned it off.
Yeah.
I didn't see the third.
The Boston Celtics, the one that won the championship, showed up in the third quarter. And I'm talking about one thing, defense. They were all over them. Holiday and White, the best backcourt in the world. It showed up. Derek White blocked Paolo Banchero on a drive to the rim.
Did it go off the back?
Yeah, he slapped it off the
yeah.
backboard that
was
started
nice.
a fast break the other way.
That was nice.
I mean, Peyton Pritchard was up and guys. I mean, they were all over people. Jaylen Brown was flying all over the place. For a guy on a bum knee, he was all over the place. I mean, they turned up the defense.
It's all about effort.
Orlando did not score for the first. They scored 2 points in the first 7 minutes of the third quarter. That was essentially the ball game because it was over 10 the rest of the way, and they never could.
They scored. What was that number?
2 points in like the first 6 or 7 minutes of the third.
Wow.
I think it was 7 minutes. So Boston went from 1 down to like 17 up. And Holiday, who did not score in the first half, had all 9 of his points in that third quarter. And he was everywhere. He got Franz so fucked up. He took Franz out on the perimeter, and Franz tried to get cute with him. And he juked him one way, like Holiday actually jumped the move, and he went to go back and he bounced the ball. Holiday did it so fast, he tried to react, and the ball went off his heel back the other way. Holiday runs it down before it goes out of bounds.
Oh, that was like out of half court.
Yeah, and then he dribbles back in, and Franz is backing up, and then Holiday pulls up and hits a 3 right in his face. After he forces him into the turnover. I'm like, this was the Boston Celtics that I love when I see them playing defense. Al Horford was all over the place. They were just, Porzingis was in the lane. Anybody that went near the rim.
Unbelievable.
But him and they put him and Porzingis together today, 4-5. Good luck getting into the paint with them.
That's the thing about when you're playing these teams that are getting physical.
Yeah.
Put multiple bigs in there.
You got to match the physicality.
Put your size in there because if you leave all your little guys out there, you're just going to get worn down.
Yeah, the one thing I thought, because Orlando has a big man who doesn't really shoot threes, I was hoping, and maybe it'll happen in game 2 because they're going to have to do this. They did. Luke Cornett played great off the bench. Namias Queta.
Saw him with a tip
Namias Queta, who is a jumping jack, 7'1". He's got a wingspan like 7.
They bring him in?
He didn't play in this game, but I think he will in game 2. He'll get physical, and he's a leaper, and you got to bring that guy in at some point because the physicality is only going to get ratcheted up.
Yeah.
It is. Jaylen Brown hit the deck. Tatum hit the deck. Porzingis they all hit the deck today, and it's going to happen again.
The other thing about bringing in guys like that is like, if they get into a shoving match with somebody, it's like, so what? If he gets teed up, if he gets tossed, who gives a fuck? Let him enforce a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, that's why if I was the Knicks, And when they start to get chippy, throw PJ Tucker out there and let him throw
this
a
is
bow.
the thing. This is where your depth is important.
Yeah.
This is where you've got to have guys that come off that bench. Not only do they contribute, but they can take a shot, and more importantly, they can dish one out.
Right.
Because we know who's going to be on the floor in the last 5. Ken, he has upgraded to skinny jeans. The team, I love these guys. I just do. I love them. They're going to ESPN. And
They're making fun of Kenny.
They're making fun of Kenny. But
That poor guy's knees are just
shot. He won a dunk contest, you know.
I mean, they call him Kenny the Jet.
He was fast. In North Carolina, he was fast. But anyway, so no, I love what I saw from them in terms of they took a hit in the mouth. They got physical with them, and Boston didn't back down. In fact, they matched it. They said, "Oh, you want to get physical? Oh, we can get physical." And I love what Holiday said because they interviewed the guy between the third and fourth quarter because he was the one who Holiday was the catalyst, for being honest. I mean, Holiday was like, "Look, they out physical us in the first quarter. Halftime, all we talked about was we have to match their physicality. They're trying to push us around in our building. Not going to happen."
Yeah.
And there wasn't an argument. It was like everybody's going, "Yeah, enough of this shit." And they came out as a team and did this. And here's the other thing that should scare probably everybody. Boston won by 17 today. Brown and Tatum did not play well.
Yeah.
They did not play well.
That's why Boston's so good.
They did not play well, and they won by 17. Now, look, when we say don't play well, there's layers to this. Tatum had 17 points, 14 rebounds, and 4 assists. That's a great game for most people, not for him.
He didn't score the way he's capable.
No, if he made his free throws, he would have had 20, but he missed all his free throws. Brown he says he played 30 minutes. He's probably going to play 30 minutes because whether they say he's on a minutes restriction or not, they're not going to say that. But I'd be shocked if he plays 40 minutes in the first round of any of these games. I'd be shocked because you don't need to do that.
Yeah.
You need him. You need him in the conference finals.
Don't overextend.
Don't overextend him until you have to. You have the bench for a reason. Use it. So you can play Tatum, Horford, and Porzingis, or Tatum, Horford, and Cornette, or Tatum, Horford, and Nehemiah Queta, or you can make this front line whatever you want to make it.
Yeah.
They have all the depth to do it. You don't need, and you can go White. You have Peyton Pritchard, 19 points, had 6 threes.
That guy's such a pain in the ass.
He's a pain in the ass. He's great.
He's one of those guys where you're just like, no, he's not going to beat us. He's going to beat you.
He made a Kyrie Irving move today.
Yeah.
In the paint. He drove in. He didn't travel.
He's got quite the bag.
He's got a bag. He drove in the lane, going left to right, rather. Stops on a dime with a head fake. The guy goes up. He steps through like McHale and then lefty off the glass. I was like, that's a Kyrie Irving move.
I saw that. Isaiah Thomas said it was a travel. I was like,
wasn't a travel. He didn't lift up his pivot.
Definitely not in today's game. It's not a travel.
You are allowed 2.5 steps. I counted 2.
There you go.
After the dribble, because he had established the pivot foot.
Who did he get hopping in the air? Just
whoever that guard was, he got him.
I mean, he went flying.
He joined the parachute club.
Yeah.
He was in the air, and Pritchard just went bye, and then so. That was what was encouraging for me. Again, I didn't want to see Orlando because I knew they were going to do this. And this is what's going to happen. And Boston and I...
But, I mean, would you have rather been playing the Heat right now?
Yes.
Because I feel like the Heat...
Without Jimmy Butler?
They can really get dirty.
They will get dirty, but they're not... Orlando can get dirty and beat you if it works. I don't think the Heat have enough firepower to beat you.
Well,
the Heat
right
don't
now
have...
Orlando can't. If Orlando had Suggs... That would be a real tough matchup.
It would be.
Y'all would beat them.
Defensively, they're very, very good.
Yeah.
They really are.
Them.
They make you work. They were number 1 defensively in the NBA against the three-point shot, defending it.
Dude, the Pistons, man. The Pistons are very physical.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, they're tough.
But this is the thing. These are the playoffs. These are the match. This is what's going to happen. Miami was physical with Cleveland today.
Yeah.
And that's why they hung around for 3 quarters. They just played 36 hours ago. That game shouldn't have been close. But it's Miami. Yeah. I'm not knocking Cleveland for this. This is that. Here we go. Here's Peyton.
Well,
is this the move? Watch the move.
There it is.
Boop. But that's not a travel.
Oh, that was Cole Anthony that he got.
That was crazy. Yeah. Now, Banchero also shot out of his tits. He had like 6 threes. He doesn't usually do that.
Well, it's like fine.
Yeah, Derek White hit 7 threes, though.
He hit 7?
7 threes. Look at this one. Step back,
that is
bang.
A dome piece, that head of his.
Yeah. This is the one that Tatum finally hit.
That's after he got hurt, right?
Yeah, that's got hurt. Derek White again. Just don't even put your hand down. God. Hand down, man down. Yeah. Got the hoster. Got the hoster. See, look at this. The rest of the team. Here's what happened. They shut down the rest of the team. The rest of the team went 10 for 30 for 27 points. You're not beating Boston if your others don't do anything.
They shoot 30%.
In fact, Still guaranteed, Chuck?
What did he guarantee?
I don't know. Let's find out what Chuck guaranteed.
Even worried. Not even worried a little bit.
I'm guessing he's
sure
talking
why.
about the Celtics.
Maybe he said the Magic would beat them a game or something.
I don't know. Chuck's dumb enough to say that. I mean, he is. He's done a lot. He's said a lot of stupid things. Anyway, we'll take a break. Come back. Segment 2, second half of this game. We're going to update you on this, and we'll go through the rest of this West. We got to talk about this Denver Clipper game. That was a hell of a. I'll tell you what. If that is a sign of things to come, that series is going to be a classic.
I mean, the Clippers gave that fucking game away.
They did.
You said they had 20 turnovers?
21.
Yikes.
We'll discuss segment 2 coming right up.